Hey, good morning. This is Stuck in Traffic with Wolf Gorlick. A few minute riff on IT and IT security. You know what? When a lot of people are working out, right, and they first get in the gym, and we're getting close to January, so this is about to happen. They immediately want to jump into the high weights, right? Oh, I want to lift all this. I saw this guy doing that and it looked awesome. I saw The Rock doing this video and I want to do this exercise. I saw this guy bench pressing, on a GHR with nothing behind him and only using his abs, and I want to do that. And then they try and jump right to those things and get disappointed, get disillusioned, injure themselves, right? You can't just go from zero to the most advanced, which is why I like things like roadmaps, why I like things like a phased approach to living, any of those things. Things that you start off with what you can do and slowly add as you work towards a goal, work towards the more advanced topic, exercise, security, implementation, what have you. So today I want to look at three things, unify them, and give you an example. But before I do, remember this is more of an advanced thing. Don't do this until you get the basics down, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. All right, so we talked about time-based security, which is that your prevention has to be greater than your detection and response. Therefore, by increasing your detection and response, you can draw, or rather decreasing your time for detection and response, you can have greater scope of protection. Time-based security. We talked about active defense, right, which is defensive components that I have an automated response, such as honeypots, honey tokens, intrusion prevention, what have you, so that the response is almost automated and the detection is less refined. And we talked about a third thing that I'm forgetting at the moment. So, in other words, two things are going to unify at the moment, right? Great, perfect. Oh, SIM and exercises, SIM and security exercises, where you've got your monitoring set up around a specific area, and you got an exercise to make sure that monitoring is appropriate, right? So, what a lot of people do when they first hear about honeypots, they'll jump to wanting to do a honeypot. They'll jump to want to put in honeypots in the perimeter or internal and configure them and watch them and see what the bad guys are doing and do malware analysis and all that sort of things, which is, hey, that's the sexy, I get it. But if you're struggling to get your SIM to work, if you're struggling to know your detection as a baseline, if you're struggling to do those basic things, that is not the time you want to be adding a honeypot. You don't have time for it. One thing to think about is an interim exercise between nothing and a honeypot is a honey token. So here's how that might work. You set up your SIM. You set up your monitoring on the file server. You enable file monitoring either through a third-party product or through Microsoft. If you got a Microsoft Windows file server, you enable it through the ACLs. Right? So every time a file is read or written or modified, that's logged to the event log. The event log gets shipped to your SIM produces a report of who did what. Now, within that environment, you create a folder that no one should ever go to, and you give everyone access to that. And maybe you name it something that would get the attention of an attacker, like vuln report or password audit or something like that. In this folder, you create those files, throw in some dummy data or encrypt the file themselves, such that there isn't anything of value. Obviously, you don't actually want to put your vuln report in there because that would be bad. You put those in the files in the folder system. You're still logging across your entire folder system. So whenever anyone accesses this file with a suspicious, attractive looking name, and everyone has full rights to, and the monitoring is set up, that is logged. That log ships to the SIM. Within the SIM, you enable alert that is a high priority because no one should ever look at that file. And you have a runbook that says, here's how my security team is going to deal with it. Including, if you'd like, another script, this active defense component, that would then take that computer and move it to a separate VLAN. Talk to your switch and offline that computer if they access that file. Now the exercise is to regularly go ahead, ping the file, and make sure it works. Voila, honey tokens. All right, cheers.